Hey everyone, it's Brett from Hope to Prosper, and I'm here at Carlsbad State Beach going on a walk with my brother. I forgot to record an intro, so I'm just going to voice it over. But I want to talk to you today about 10 quick tips to complete by the end of the year. You need to do these to ensure your finances are in order. Some of these may seem a little boring, but I promise I'm going to make them fun and fast and informative. And by the way, I got the idea for this post this week from my buddy John while we were hiking earlier in the week. So thanks, John. All right, so number one, rebalance your buckets. If you're using the bucket strategy, or if you're using some kind of a strategy of, a percentage of stocks to bonds, that kind of stuff, the stock market's way up. And so now's a really good time to sell some of your stocks and rebalance your buckets. Put some more money in fixed income or put money in your other buckets. So if you're using a bucket strategy, it's probably a good time to rebalance your buckets right now. Number two, realize capital gains. Obviously when you sell stocks, if it's in a taxable account instead of like an IRA or 401k, you get hit with capital gains taxes. And I remember this, man, I used to get clobbered every year when I had my six-figure job. And then if I sold any stocks, man, I just got taxed to death on top of that. And I live in California, so I got double taxed on top of that. But I have some really good news for you, and I just learned this week. There is a 0% rate on long-term capital gains. And you could sell your stocks, take a big profit, and pay no taxes on it. So let's talk about that, first of all. First of all, we're talking about taxable accounts like a brokerage account or a mutual fund that's set up as taxable, not an IRA or a 401k or some kind of tax-deferred account, a Roth. So in a taxable account, there's a thing called a long-term capital gains, and there's a short-term capital gains. So if you hold your security, your stock, whatever, your mutual fund for more than a year, same with real estate, by the way, then it becomes a long-term capital gain, not a short-term capital gain. And on a short-term capital gain, you pay taxes just like ordinary income. But on a long-term capital gain, there's tax brackets that are very, very beneficial. So for example, if you're single, in the 0% rate, you can earn up to $47,025 and pay a zero. And by the way, this is your adjusted gross income. It's not just for your capital gains tax, but it's for your total income. But if you earn up to $47,000, you're going to pay zero on the capital gain, long-term capital gain. Over 47, up to $500,000, basically, you pay a 15% rate. And then over 20%, over $500,000, you would pay 20%. So that's still better than you would probably get in ordinary income. If you're married filing jointly, like I am, you can earn up to $94,000 AGI, adjusted gross income, and pay 0% on your capital gains. So that's pretty amazing. Number three, sign up for Medicare. If you're 64 years of age, you're crawling up on 65. I'm not. I'm about 5 years away. It's time to sign up for Medicare. And you need to do it in what's called the initial enrollment period. I don't know exactly where that is, but that's usually like 3 to 6 months ahead of your 65th birthday. And you need to sign up on time. This is really important, or you would face some severe penalties that could cost you for life. They could cost you extra on Medicare for life. So make sure you look into it at least a couple months ahead of your birthday, your 65th birthday, and make sure you're all good to go months ahead. Number four, insurance open enrollment. So if you haven't handled this yet, the Medicare open enrollment ends December 7th, which is today, so I'm a little late to tell you that. But Affordable Care Act, I have covered California, which is ACA. It's from November 1st to December 15th. And if you do it by December 15th, then your stuff will be good to go on the 1st of January. But you actually have a late period. You can select all the way up to January 31st if you choose. So it might be time to make sure your open enrollment's handled. Number five, optimizing your Social Security. I'm not going to go into a long-winded explanation of how to optimize your Social Security. I'm just going to say that if you haven't evaluated your Social Security benefits, now's a good time to do it before you need it. Even if your birthday, like my birthday's off in June, crunching all the numbers at the end of the year is probably a really good idea. If you take your Social Security a couple months early, you don't have to wait exactly till you're 67. If you took it 3 months early, it wouldn't be a big deal. You wouldn't lose that much money. So, if you haven't optimized your Social Security, you don't have a plan, you don't have it set in stone, now's a really good time to look it over. Number 6, taking minimum distribution or required minimum distributions. They're also called RMDs. So if you have 401k, IRAs, any other kind of retirement account besides a Roth, you're required to take money out. And so if you're age 72, or if you're 73 and you were 72 after December 31st, 2022, you're required to take your minimum distributions. Start taking them. And if you forget or you don't do it, there's a 50% excise tax on the amount that wasn't distributed. So you may end up paying almost all your RMD in taxes if you forget. So if you haven't done it yet, I think you have till April 1st, but I'm not positive. Make sure you take your RMDs. Okay, number 7, review your beneficiaries. This is a really important thing to do. If you haven't done it for a while, you need to double check and make sure the beneficiaries on all your accounts are up to date. So, like for example, my wife's my primary beneficiary, but my kids are my secondary beneficiary. So my wife and I get killed in a car wreck, the money goes to the kids. But I have all that all set up. And you need to, if you don't have that set up, it's super important, because if you have accounts that don't have beneficiaries on them, you might have to get a court order to get that money moved. Whereas if you have beneficiaries and you die, guess what? The money just gets sent in a check right away. So check your bank accounts, check your investment accounts, check your insurance policies, make sure you have primary and secondary beneficiaries. Number 8, tax loss harvesting. This is a really complex subject. I'm not going to get into it in a bunch of detail here, but if you have some losing investments, and everybody has them, trust me, I have them too, now's a good time to sell them before the end of the year and harvest the tax loss. Especially if you're thinking about cashing out some investments that did really well, you could offset those gains with a loss. And so tax loss harvesting, now's the time. If you wait until January, you won't get the tax loss until the next year, which is a year and a half away. Number 9, Roth contributions. Now, I'm not talking here about a Roth conversion, right, where you take money out and then you convert it. That's a whole different story. I'm talking about the contributions. Most people don't think about this, especially if they're retired. But, every year I contribute $8,000. I take it out of my taxable account and I move it into my Roth. And you can put in $8,000, $7,000 if you're under 50, and $8,000 if you're 50 or older. It's called a catch-up contribution. And so if you're older, you get to put more money in. So if you have any income that you can use, I would recommend putting it into a Roth IRA. It's a really good move. You won't have RMDs, and you won't have any future taxes at all, ever. So if you can stuff an extra $7,000 or $8,000 away in your Roth, now's the time. I think you might have up to April 15th, but still, end of the year, it's a good time to do it. Okay, number 10, this is the last one, and I think this is an important one. I'm remiss on this myself, but create an ICE packet. So ICE stands for in case of emergency, and it's just a packet for your loved ones if anything happens to you, so that they can access your stuff. And literally people die and it's a nightmare for their spouse. So what you put in your ICE is wills and trusts, medical directives, powers of attorney, bank accounts, investment accounts, insurance policies, and passwords. And so you want to put all that stuff down for someone in case they have to follow up behind you, and make sure that all of your assets and all of your wishes are forwarded to them. So think about creating an ICE packet if you haven't done it. All right, so let's wrap it up. The bottom line is the end of the year is a great time to make sure all of your affairs are in order. Starting the new year without any financial problems or hangovers from the previous year, it's priceless. So that's what I recommend. Okay, thanks for watching this week. I hope you enjoyed these 10 end-of-the-year tips and the footage of beautiful Carlsbad State Beach. I wish you all health, happiness, and prosperity in your lives, and I will see you next week on my next big adventure.